Welcome to the Cinema-Savants Review Show. I'm Rob Steele. That's Todd Vandenberg. Lee Vowell is continuing to be on vacation because he's part of the Trump administration. No, that's not right.
He's not indicted.
Oh, sorry. He's actually out enjoying himself? Really? Are we allowed to do that? In this day and age.
One of us is, apparently.
Well, yeah. 1 out of 3.
Yeah,
so I guess that's about right. Anyway, I mentioned on Sunday 3-letter movies. We've got Meg and we've got Tag. They both have the letter G in them. And G, that means you get to start, Todd.
Woo! So, this movie's been out
the original
for a while.
G.
Movie's been out for a while, and so I finally got around to seeing it. Not courtesy of Movie Pass, by the way. But anyway, I saw The Meg. And it's not Meg, it's The Meg.
Sorry.
And the trailer.
If it was just Meg, it would be Meg Ryan, wouldn't it?
Exactly. There you go.
Okay.
Who used to be a giant shark. Not physically. We're not talking about that. Just as far as screen presence and impact in Hollywood. And anyway, back to the actual giant shark, which is, of course, CGI, because there aren't actual giant sharks for those of you who are fact challenged. Anyway, The Meg is about a maybe 70 foot, maybe 80 foot, depends, somewhere in there. Ancient shark, a megalodon. It is based on a book that came out in the 90s. That's how long this thing has been rolling around in Hollywood. And they finally decided, let's make a fun action film with Jason Statham, who is basically in half the fun action movies if John Cena is not available. It's a fairly fun movie. I'll start with that. It is not a really fun movie, which made me sad. To me, they really missed the mark because they either needed to go over the top and make it crazy, like Crank, or even better, Crank 2, the movie where Jason Statham starts his own heart with jumping off his heart with a car battery, which is great, and survives a fall from an airplane without a parachute because, it's Crank.
He's clever like that.
He is a clever boy in those movies. So they missed doing that, sadly. And they also missed making a really scary movie like Jaws. So it has a little bit of the humor, has a fair amount of humor, and it has some of the suspense, but it misses on both sides of the fence. So there are suspenseful parts, there are funny parts, but you don't really, at least I didn't really get invested in any of the characters because they don't really do much work to develop the characters. And yeah, it's a short movie, and how much character development can you do in a movie? Well, tons. I mean, look at Jaws. You're really invested in the 3 main characters in Jaws. Not so much in this movie because the script just isn't that good, unfortunately. Again, not a bad movie. It's worth seeing just for a fun summer flick. But the shark itself looks great.
How many gills does it have?
It does. It does have the correct number of gills, which is very funny. If you think about it too much, there are some serious problems. Like the shark lives in the deepest part of the ocean, but somehow is able to come up to the surface and wreak havoc without exploding. Okay, that's not going to work. So you can't overthink it. You can't think about it much at all. So you don't want to do that. Jason Statham is great in the movie because he's almost always great in everything. Rainn Wilson is very fun as a CEO who is invested in this undersea research facility. He does a terrific job. Bingbing Lee, who is the love interest and the co-star, and the reason she's the co-star is because they wanted it to make a million. They wanted it to make hundreds of millions of dollars in China. And I'm not saying, they just got an Asian actress because of that. She's terrific. She's great. I would love to see her in a lot of different things. But again, Statham himself released a statement. He was saying he was surprised that they didn't go for an R rating because the script he got, which has made him interested, it said it was really intense, really bloody. He thought, wow, this is going to be great. Yeah, there are some kind of tough scenes. If you are taking your little children to see the movie about the giant shark that eats people, you probably shouldn't do that because it is PG-13 after all. But there's so much that they could have done with this giant shark. It just isn't that scary. It just isn't that suspenseful. compared to Jaws, yeah, the shark is gigantic, but it might as well be like, I don't know, an ocean perch chasing people, because that's about how scary it is. It's an okay movie. It's fun. The CGI work is terrific. I mean, they did a fantastic job with this. I wish they had spent the money that they spent on the effects on the script, because this could have been a terrific movie. Instead, it's a fun movie. It's okay, but it's just a hugely wasted opportunity, because the cast is excellent, the effects are excellent, and it's just kind of like, okay, that was all right. And then 2 weeks after you see it, you probably will have forgotten that you even saw it.
That's disappointing when you get a movie like that.
It is, because I was really thinking, wow, this is going to be super fun, because look at the cast. And yeah, it's just, again, by no means this is a bad movie. It's fun, it's okay, but it's just kind of like, it is absolutely a popcorn movie, because when's the last time you had popcorn that you remember? It's like, oh man, I remember 6 years ago, it was a Thursday. Remember when we had that popcorn? No. Same thing.
So it's a good thing we reviewed the movie this week, because next week it might be gone.
Oh, it's making tons of money.
No, I mean in your head.
But yeah, exactly. We'll have to review it again in a month, because you'll have forgotten that we reviewed it and that you watched it.
Kind of like the movie I watched this week, which is, I know, normally I go back quite a ways, but this time, no, now available for home viewing, Tag.
You watched a movie from this century?
It can happen. Wasn't even Marvel related. Although there will be a reference in a little while. Short forming the story of Tag, it's about a group of guys who are in their 30s who have been playing the same game of tag for about 30 years. Now, the thing that interested me in this movie was the line, inspired by a true story. And yeah, it was. These guys have been playing tag for 30-something years. Now we get the movie version, which, I mean, it's a great premise. It's got a great cast with Ed Helms, John Hamm, Jeremy-Renner, actually Isla Fisher, whichever she was. Absolutely wonderful in the movie. And you get to like the characters in this, and it started really good with them continuing to play tag until they introduced Jeremy Renner's character. He played Jerry, the guy who has never been tagged, and this is the year we've got to get him. So they make these elaborate plans to get Jerry, and Jerry is one of those guys who just takes everything way too seriously and way too far. And that's, to me, where they lost me. Once they got to the chasing him around during his... They made a deal so they're not allowed to chase him around during the preparatory stuff for his wedding. So, the rehearsal dinner is off limits. The wedding is off limits. Trying on the dress, which he's not doing, but he has to go or something, that's off limits. But, the rehearsal dinner ends at 5. Synchronize your watches. I don't wear a watch. What's a watch? Time is an abstract concept. Okay, never mind. Anyway, there's still good stuff in there, but once you introduce Jeremy Renner, it turns into 4 or 5 guys who are basically Yogi Bear trying to fight off the cast of Dragon Ball. It doesn't work at all, because Jeremy Renner has set up this, lays a trap for them. What? The guy running who's trying not to be it has laid a trap for any of 5 guys who could be it, including traps we saw in the Predator movies. Oh my God!
I hope that part's true.
Yeah, that I think that's where we get the inspired by part, because I'm with them up until this point, and then
is that why he's never been tagged? Because he's murdered all of his friends.
There are parts of this where the guys who are trying to catch him should be dead. But they made up for it at the end, and it ended with it was nice and sweet at the end and everything. So it had a good ending. It had a good beginning. It's that middle bit where you go, I'm sorry, what? I mean, so, you get about 45 minutes in, you go to the kitchen, and you make dinner. You're going to make, make a stew, something that takes a while, because you've got another 45 minutes before you have to be back in the living room to watch the end of the movie. You're not going to miss really anything at that point. So, that's what I'm saying. It's got some good bits, and it's got some terribly silly bits, and it's got some bits where you kind of go, no, don't do it. Put the teddy bear back. That's the first thing I'm going to say that needed to be said early on is leave that teddy bear alone and don't do that to the teddy bear. Yes, it's going exactly where you think I'm going with it, where I don't. Let's not go there.
Yeah.
So Tag, now available at a living room near you, or a cell phone, which is what, now available at a pocket near you?
I guess it is.
It's kind of disturbing if you think of it that way.
Totally.
But that would be what we've got to review. So now you've got something to see for the weekend. And it's a long weekend. And it's a short show because Lee's not here. He's off enjoying himself. Fine. Be that way.
Miserable, life-having person.
You know what? We'll still be here Sunday for more news. That may include Marvel and DC stuff this week because, we left it out of the last show and stuff happened. But that's okay. We'll make up for it. We'll see you on Sunday. Until then, go see a movie.
That's pretty much it.